Tonight we're looking at getting video out of your still camera. And again, please.
You sound like David Attenborough.
Oh, yeah. What? Oh, you are joking. It's too early. Come back. I'll get back to you when I've done the housework, cleaned up. Just give us a minute. We're going back to sleep. Now I'm here because I would do almost anything to avoid speaking in public. So here I am talking to my own Canon D5 digital SLR camera. I'm not quite, well, it's probably easier talking to a camera, I don't know. Trouble is you've got to do it over and over again until you get it right. This is take 237. Anyway, what I was going to say was I've actually been paid for the last, 37, 38 years to point video cameras. And as such, I know the silky smoothness of pointing a $100,000 camera with a 40:1 lens, a remote zoom control and a viewfinder that you can see through accurately and pick focus. When it comes to working with a digital SLR camera, they are just so clunky by comparison. I mean, I've actually, this goes on the camera. It's a eyepiece for picking focus. It was nearly $400. That's just to see what you're doing. That's typical. That last scene is now obsolete unless you're using an old camera like me, because according to the Green Guide, and of course I think you all probably knew this, you can get SLR cameras that have autofocus, perfectly good autofocus, in your live mode, video mode type thing. Here it is here, the Sony, it's a Sony SLT, stands for semi-translucent mirror, I think. So forget everything I said about focus. You can go to autofocus and it should work, except that of course, you know, if I had a camera operator now and I'm autofocused on my face, if we were to pan off, it would hunt, you know, it would find focus, in and out, stop, come back to my face, in and out and stop. It doesn't have intelligence. You do need to apply some intelligence to that sort of thing. And also, speaking of focus, if you were to use a real video camera, you can zoom in on your subject, focus, zoom out, and it's crispy sharp. With a still lens, you can't do that. If you zoom in, focus, zoom out, it'll be out of focus. You've got to refocus for every focal length that you're using, which is a pain in the proverbial. You can use, on this camera at least, and this camera, you can use the, it's sort of like an enlarger button. Instead of zooming in, instead of optically zooming in, you can enlarge your picture, check focus, and then reduce it. Look, when you play with it, you'll see it. Look, it's that plus button there. Yeah. So I just thought I'd throw in this little bit because, frankly, my last bit was obsolete. We'll get back to what I was thinking later. Did you notice at the start of this little scene, and I bet you did, I put the coffee down with my right hand. The close-up of the same action was in fact my left hand. You can get away with a lot with continuity, but you probably shouldn't. And any mistakes at all in this video are deliberate. It's just so that you can, you know, feel involved by checking them off. Now, I've just realised that this, because I can't be bothered writing a script, this video is just basically a stream of consciousness, and when I think of something, I'll just go and shoot it, and there'll be no sequential line of thinking, because that's frankly, you know, I don't have. Well, so yeah, okay. Anyway, oh, go on, really? That's unbelievable. Go on, yeah, yeah. So anyway, now the reason I'm on the phone is that my neighbours think I'm mad enough as it is. So if anyone walks past, I'm on the phone. I'm not actually talking to you. Now, what was I saying? Stream of consciousness. What I wanted to mention about these cameras is a couple of problems. There's moire and artifacting, which these are prone to. And so anyway, I turned to him and said, "Yeah, that's right." I turned to, yeah, that's exactly right. He just couldn't. Yeah, these problems, because these cameras, even in high definition, they're putting out much more resolution than even high def needs. So what I believe what they do is, you know, they record a line of information and then throw away 2 or 3, then record the next one, throw away 2 or 3, record the next one, throw away. And hence, if you've got any fine detail in your picture, they can cause moire and artifacting. You can solve that by throwing it out of focus, or if, I don't know, what, let's say I was wearing a fine patterned shirt and there was moire, just zoom in, zoom out, or move in and out, just to make the lines bolder or thinner, so the camera can cope. Or if it's in the background, throw it out of focus. Yeah. Another problem with these cameras is the rolling shutter, which can distort verticals if you do rapid pans. I'll try and demonstrate that and try and bring up a still frame to show you. It's a symptom of, like a focal plane shutter on your still camera when you're doing a fast-moving car going past. The wheels might be, instead of being round, will be oval. It's just a symptom of the technology. And frankly, I wouldn't care too much about it. In fact, I don't even know why I brought it up. But anyway, look, when I think of something else, I'll get back to you. No, he's an absolute turkey. Absolute turkey. Oh yeah, one more thing. It might seem obvious now, but you know, most people do it, I think. You can't turn your camera into portrait mode when you're shooting video. Simple as that, because you can, unless you turn your projector on the side, I guess. No, even then, don't, yeah, just stick to landscape. Okay, I've had a quick review of this video, and I am in it way too much. I'm going to try and reduce myself to being just a voiceover from now on, but I wanted to talk to you about the controls you have on your SLR camera when you're shooting stills are all pretty much the same. Yeah, I think they are pretty much the same in video mode, but in particular, let's talk about shutter speed, because there are some perhaps unforeseen consequences of shutter speed in video mode. For example, this is being shot at a 40th of a second, which you would say in a still world is pretty slow for a moving subject. But in video, a little bit of motion blur, if I just wave my hands, there's a little bit of blur there, but that actually helps. It disguises the fact that you're looking at a series of still photographs, a little bit of blur. Yeah, no, it's nice and gentle, and it helps. But look at this, let's have a look. Now, this water flowing out of the tap looks pretty normal. It's shot at a 40th of a second, just like my blurry hands were shot earlier. The water's a bit of a blur. Now, if we were to increase the shutter speed to 1/4000th of a second, which is as fast as my camera will go, this is what you get. It's no longer a nice blurry stream of water, but beautiful individual droplets. Fantastic if that's what you wanted, but just be aware, if you didn't want it, then, you know, that's not what you wanted. The main advantage of using high shutter speed in video is that you get no motion blur. Each frame is crystal clear, and therefore in post-production you can slow it down. Wouldn't mind a coffee. Crossing the line, a trap for young players. This couple, they're walking their dog along the park. and they are travelling, as far as we're concerned, from left to right. Now every shot should show them travelling left to right of screen. Now if we were to cross the line or cross the path and start filming them from the other side, although they haven't actually changed direction, from the viewer's point of view they have. They're now going right to left. It's a little bit confusing. You see it with cowboys and Indian films quite often, and you see it yeah, all too often. You can of course explain to the viewers what's happening by actually filming you crossing the line. So you can actually, here we are, you can actually cross the line in vision, and everyone's happy. Okay, you've now conquered the camera, you've got focus, you've got exposure, you've got framing. But the really big thing that distinguishes amateur from not so amateur is of course sound. Good sound of course is not just what you catch at the time. You've got to get the best sound you can at the time, but it's also what you do with it in post-production, in editing, and I hope to demonstrate that a little bit later. But for the moment, that wide shot earlier, me walking along, was shot using the camera mic. You could hear it was pretty tinny. At the moment, I'm now using a lapel mic, and this is it. You can hear me. I'll scratch this. Scratch, scratch, scratch. You can tell that that was that one. Or you could use a boom microphone attached to the top of the camera. Excellent for getting rid of handling noise when you're filming and you're just using the camera mic. Every time you move your hands onto the lens or shuffle, you'll hear that, but this will help get rid of that. All I want to demonstrate here is the importance of getting a continuous soundtrack that you can run under various other shots, and it softens the whole process out. Now, if that had been cut using the audio from each individual shot, this is how it would have turned out. Okay, far from perfect, I know, but you get the idea. And when you record that continuous soundtrack, if you can get lip sync, if it's someone speaking, a speech, say, or in this case, hands on the keyboard, it's all the better because you can keep cutting back to it from the cutaways, and it all flows on very nicely. I just wanted to show you quickly, as we're getting towards the end, luckily, of this talk, some quick editing, just so that you can get an idea of, you know, track layout and whatnot. This is Adobe Premiere 11, and I'm guessing most editing packages are a similar layout. Let's have a look. Okay, starting again, let's just try and make this as painless as possible. Project assets, these are the videos I've already loaded in. Let's go for our first shot, which was here. It's the train arriving at the station. There it comes. Okay, you can see it there. Now in my opening of the little presentation thing, I actually made all this stuff black and white, but we won't bother here. Now put that into video track 1 and audio track 1. It's now arrived up here so we can see what we're doing. We can see it. There it is, it's playing away. Now I want the audio to fade out. So we just do a little bit of a right click and fade. We've got a number of choices, fade ins and outs, fade out audio. So that will fade out the audio. Now the next shot I wanted to put in, which was actually over this shot, is the, what was it, a sort of an empty shot of the railway station, which was number 4. It was this one. Now I've already trimmed these shots so that we don't have to bother doing that. So let's bung that in video track 2. And I don't want the audio on this track, so we just go again, delete audio, it's gone. So let's just play and see what we've got here so far. We've got, and here it comes, trains arriving, blah de blah blah. Sorry, it's taken too long. Here we go. And then we've put in that other shot, but we've still got the sound, original sound going over it. Now I'd also like now to put another mute shot in after that, and I think it was this little figure here. Let's bung that in there. Hopefully that, if we're lucky, that lines up with the end of that shot. Let's just play again. Ah, yes, now. Now if you notice, oh yeah, okay. Okay, the next shot was Sally walking down the thing. Again, now we can use the sound from this shot because it's got her footsteps and things. So back to video track 1. And clear the area. Let's just see what we've got. And the sound faded out and we're into this sound. Now look, I won't bother going any further except to say you can of course add music with this particular thing. So you get some free, copyright free tracks down the bottom here, and I think I put in this one. So you just again click, drag it down to soundtrack. And where did I bring it in? I brought it in, I don't know, doesn't know, let's bring it in there. And let's have a listen, see what we got. Let's just go back to the start. Well, not quite the start, golly gosh. And there's the music coming in. So there we have it. Mercifully, I'll wrap it up now, and in the unlikely event that you might have some questions, I'll try and answer them when the house lights come up.